Hello and welcome to WCTV's Wildlife Encounters. This program is brought to you in partnership with the Granite State Zoo in New Hampshire. I'm your host, Naomi Stock. Joining us today is Erica, who is a volunteer coordinator and wildlife educator for the Granite State Zoo. Erica, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to be here today.
So how about filling us in on how you got associated with the Granite State Zoo?
Well, I actually started out as a seasonal employee last summer.
Okay.
I was halfway through my master's in social work program, but wildlife and animals have always been a passion of mine. So I found the job, I applied, and I came on board, and I haven't left since. And I actually graduated in the spring with my master's in social work. So I plan to hopefully utilize a lot of the knowledge that I've gained on in nonprofit development to help grow the Granite State Zoo.
Oh, terrific. So you'll be there for a while, it sounds like.
I hope to.
Okay.
So that's the plan. I have found that I really love parrots and birds for some reason. I don't really know why. I really enjoy working with them.
Well, that's good. You learned that, right? Did you grow up with birds at all?
I didn't. In fact, I didn't have really any exposure until I came to the zoo. And
great.
I found that tend to have a natural, I'm naturally kind of good with them, which surprised me, but I really love them. They just have such a great intelligence about them, and they're really a fun species to work with.
Oh, great. Terrific. Well, we're ready for our first guest. Who do you have for us?
Well, our first guest is a species that is native to the United States, although not around here.
Wow.
This is a corn snake, or a red rat snake.
Okay.
They're native to southeastern United States. They're very common. You see these very commonly in pet stores and in the pet trade because they tend to be fairly docile. Now, the reason that they're called a corn snake is not because they eat corn, but actually because they used to be found very commonly when farmers would store their corn in large quantities, and the reason being that they were there to eat all the mice and rats that were coming to eat all the corn.
Oh, interesting. And he looks like leather almost.
He does, and if you'd like to touch too, you can feel.
Yeah, sure. So wait, you also called him something else. Oh, he's very smooth.
A red rat snake. There are many different species of rat snakes native throughout the United States. This one you could find as far north as possibly New Jersey and down through Florida. Right. In the colder climates, they would hibernate in the winter. When it's warmer, they wouldn't have to. And this is a constrictor. I know when people think of constrictors, they tend to think of boa constrictors.
Right.
It's not a boa constrictor. However, they do constrict their prey, which means that they would eat mice and rats and other animals, even possibly lizards. And in order to kill that prey before they eat it, they would wrap around it and squeeze it.
Okay, so he doesn't have any venom or anything.
It's not venomous.
Okay, he's very silky smooth. Now, so basically, why does he have two names? So how would you refer to him, as a corn snake or a rat?
Corn snake's probably the more popular name, the more common name, but either would be appropriate. It really just depends on who you're talking to and what they've, what they've heard of. And the rat snake tends to refer to a lot of other species too that are related. Okay. So corn snake would refer to this particular species.
And why called a rat snake? Because he likes to eat rats?
Yes, it is. It's pretty obvious name, but that is why.
And how old is this snake?
I don't know the age. Okay. And in fact, with snakes, unless you know when they were born, it's impossible to know. They grow every year they're alive, but their growth depends on how much they're fed and how often.
Oh.
So they can go a very long time without eating, which is not always healthy for them to go too long.
Right.
Or they can eat fairly often, and that's how much they grow depends on that. So you really you can't tell. And the snake came to us. We didn't get it as a baby.
I love how you're holding the snake, because usually snakes are like, they're moving all over the place on your body, and you're just sort of holding this like a little handbag.
Well,
he's so gentle.
Yeah.
I mean, so he really is.
And the best way, when you're holding a snake, you want to try to support as much of their body as possible.
Okay.
With a snake, often snakes will feel most comfortable if they are coiled up. If they are really extended, they're very exposed.
Okay.
So that's more risk for predators and whatnot. And another thing I really like to point out is that you'll notice where I'm not holding the snake is around my neck. So although corn snakes,
for obvious reasons.
Well, but it's very common that you see people that handle snakes and they put them around their neck.
Yeah, they do. Why is that?
It's just, it's kind of fun. I think that I
To
don't know the
carry
real
it, right,
reasons.
right.
However, we really like to advocate against that because we feel that even a snake as small as this, that they squeeze to kill their prey. So they're very good at that.
Okay.
Why would you put them around the part of your body that's the easiest to squeeze and cause you harm?
This is true.
So we just really like to push that message because even if it's a small snake like this, that the chances are this snake could not hurt me.
Okay.
But why would I risk that?
Right. This is true. So if someone could find this like in their cornfield now, like.
Yeah, if you
I mean,
lived a
they're
little
around.
further south, not in New
Okay,
Hampshire.
not New Hampshire.
But you could find there's the native species that's probably the closest
Right.
relative would be the milk snake.
Okay.
Wouldn't be as brightly colored. These have a nice red color, but you could find those out there, and they also are constrictors, so they do constrict their prey.
So if somebody saw one of these in their garden, or just know that it's not going to bite.
Well, anything with a
and-
mouth can bite. Of
Right.
course, it's not going to harm you if it bites.
Sure.
But it's always best just to give any sort of wildlife you find a wide berth.
Okay.
They will usually warn you and let you know not to come near them. They'll coil up and let you know.
Right.
But their first instinct is going to be to run. So
Okay.
usually when you see a snake in the wild, what you see is them slithering away.
Okay.
Because we're pretty scary to them. We're pretty large, and they couldn't take us on in terms of if we did try to go after them. They
Right.
really aren't large enough.
Does his colors change? Does it? No, it just stays the same, right?
Yeah, his colors don't change. They change slightly when he's going to be shedding.
Okay.
Because they shed their skin from head to tail,
Right.
ideally in one piece. It comes off inside out. And right before they shed, they become a little bit more milky. And their eyes actually get milky right over it. And actually the most dangerous time to handle a snake, when you're most likely to be bit, is right when they're shedding. Because when their eyes get filmy, they can't see as well, so they're more likely to bite because they get more scared.
Interesting. That's new information. Great. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Snake.
We'll put him right back.
That was one of the prettiest colored ones. I mean, we've had a few snakes on here, but his colors were really beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right, we're ready for number
our
2.
next ambassador,
The big.
and he gets a little bit of a treat here.
Aren't you a lucky guy? Look
see
at
if we
that.
can get him to come
look
on
at
out
that
here.
snout. Oh, you guys are gonna love this one. Look at these whiskers and that fuzzy nose. Oh, you're beautiful. Look at you.
So this is Thorn,
Hi, Thorn.
and he is a Brazilian or monkey-tailed porcupine.
Okay, I just have to see his face for a second.
He does have a beautiful
You
face.
are adorable. So he's from where?
Well, he was born in captivity. However, they're native to South America, Brazil, and some of the surrounding countries.
Okay.
The reason he's called a monkey-tailed porcupine is due to this tail. It is a prehensile tail, so he can hang from it. Obviously,
Don't
he'd
let
rather,
go. I know he's like,
he'd rather be left alone to eat his corn.
we got my corn.
Yeah. And he is a rodent like all porcupines.
And so you got him in captivity, but
He was
he's
born in captivity, yes.
so if something his system is the same as if something was coming after him, he would turn. And originally, I thought that they shot their quills out.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
a very
And they
common
must be
myth.
from cartoons or something. But yeah, and they just turn. So if he felt something was approaching him, he's not doing anything with his because his tail is very long
Yeah.
compared to a normal porcupine.
Yeah,
right?
compared to the porcupines that we have around here, this is a much longer tail. They do have a tail, however, it's much smaller.
Okay.
I mean, his first defense is he will warn. They do make sounds. They have
Oh, they do?
vocalizations.
Okay.
Sometimes high-pitched little screams. Sometimes he does that when he doesn't really want to wake up and go out too, just to express that he's not exactly thrilled. But you know, he's quite the trooper. And if he were really stressed and really upset, his quills would puff right up,
Okay.
just like that. They'd get a lot bigger, and that's a warning too. And you can see under too, there's kind of a yellowish, there's
Yeah.
some bright yellow coloring.
Yeah.
That's actually what's called flash or startle coloration.
Okay.
So that is another defense against predators. It's giving them a warning, you know, kind of a final warning saying, stay away.
Bright
You
colors.
don't want to come here. Yeah, bright colors,
Bright
exactly.
colors and thorns, right?
And bright colors often mean danger in the wild. So if animals don't heed that, then of course if they did, they would have to make physical contact because you're right, no porcupines shoot their quills. And if they made physical contact, these are barbed quills. They're designed to stick in and stay in. And they actually could potentially kill a predator because even if they didn't get them into a vital organ, they are designed to continually work their way inside. Same with the porcupines around here. That's why it's really important to get them out.
I didn't know that. So it actually won't just, it'll just keep, they're designed that way? Like, I mean,
they're very effective defense.
That's
so
amazing.
they're designed, they kind of keep working their way in, which is why it's really important when people's dogs are commonly porcupined around here. And it's really important to make sure you get all the quills out, which is why a vet visit is often required.
Isn't that, I've never heard that. That's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Do they get replaced? It's so funny because they're so clean. Like, it almost looks painted from this angle. Like there's nothing. It's just, it's beautiful. Do they replace these? Do they fall out and get old?
They do. They're similar to hares, just you know, designed differently. Designed to detach easily too, if they need to. And they do fall out, and they will grow back. Of course, ideally, he wouldn't want to lose any of them to a predator because it does take time to grow them back. So he doesn't want to have that happen. That would be the last line of defense.
So they don't have a regular shedding. Like they don't. These don't get old and fall off.
They do. Not all at once or anything like that. It's not like molting, but they will. He will lose them just like you would lose fur.
Like every 6 months.
So maybe not quite as much because you can see he just doesn't have, you know, the same number of quills as you would with fur, the number of little hairs.
So what does he do with his day?
Well,
the
during
day in the life
day,
of a
he's going to be sleeping. He's a nocturnal animal. They are almost entirely arboreal, meaning they're going to spend all of their time up in the trees.
Right.
You can see he's obviously got the tail for it. His front claws and feet are really designed to climb.
Right.
So he's going to spend so much time in the trees. They don't need to move too fast, so he's kind of slow moving. He's going to sleep during the day, wake up at night, and forage for food.
What kind of food?
Well, he is a rodent. Corn like this would be something that obviously he wouldn't happen upon in the wild unless he happened upon a farm.
Right, he and the snake are hanging out together.
But in the wild, he would eat leaves, vegetation, possibly some nuts or fruits, and bark, trees, things like that.
Okay.
So he would chew all the time because as a rodent too, he's got the front teeth that continue to grow.
All right.
So they grow nonstop, and that's so that they continually have to be chewing to file those down.
Oh. They grow nonstop.
They do. They have to because of the amount of chewing that rodents do. If they didn't, their teeth would wear down way too quickly.
Is
so
that
they have
common
to
with many rodents or just the porcupine?
all rodents.
Really?
Yeah. That's why if people do have rodents in captivity, they need to provide things for them to chew on, or their teeth can grow way too much, and it can become a serious problem.
That's really cool. I've never heard that before, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you end up seeing an animal, you know it's not being taken care of if their front teeth are really long.
It is.
Well, you're just the star. Look at you, that face, those black whiskers. All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have another great animal for you to see. Thanks for joining us.
You know, eating a healthy diet doesn't have to be complicated or take a lot of time. In fact, you don't need a cookbook at all. Let me think. How will I do this? Wash and eat. How fast and easy is that? Join me next time when we'll discover the wonderful world of bananas.
Welcome back to Wildlife Encounters. We have a furry little guest for you.
We do. We have a baby guest.
Look at you little fuzzer.
So this is one of our baby Arctic foxes. She's a female, and she's only just over 3 months old.
Wow.
She's still a baby. Now, of course, one of the things that people notice first about her is the fact that when you think of an Arctic fox, you do think of white. And of course, in the summer, they're not so white, but also the babies aren't born white. They're born brown. The reason being that they need to be safe from predators because when they're small, there's lots of predators.
Okay.
So that they can hide in the dens, they can blend in with all the dirt and everything up in the Arctic.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
She's
getting used to this.
Right,
she's new to this. So.
We had Coda is the name?
Yep, Coda's our adult male Arctic fox.
So we had Coda on the show and big white puffball, and then Coda came back, and Coda was a little darker. It looked like she had a haircut. And so this is kind of neat to see these three, you know, just the different, we're going now in time, this, I don't know, you look like a little puppy, but you don't, because I guess his feet are large. And he does have like some wolf.
Yep, and you can see that there's some of the white coming in, so she will turn white as the seasons change.
Right.
And as she's growing here.
And does she stay with her parents, or do they separate when they're young? Like how long?
They live in family groups. They tend to, they hunt as solitary animals, but they do tend to live. And in fact, at our facility, we put our females out into an enclosure next to Coda, our adult male, you know, with fencing in between so they could maybe sniff, hoping that they could be housed together eventually. And, you know, they were out there for a few hours, and we went to look, and the little females had dug holes under and gone to visit Coda. And at first, you know, we were very careful to monitor that, because obviously we don't want any injury to come from mixing animals that aren't used to each other. But they've done really well together.
Really?
And we've seen remarkable changes even with Coda and having more of his species around.
Oh, interesting.
So it's been really fun for us to see the difference that a few young ladies can make in in Coda's life. They definitely keep him energized. And
now you have white coming out of your ears. Look at that.
yeah.
It almost looks like you could almost tell me, oh, this is a really aged, you know, because there's that fine line of like, you have some gray hair already.
Yeah, it does almost look like gray hair.
So how many? So how many do you have at the facility now?
We have 3 Arctic foxes. We
Okay.
just got the 2 baby girls, and we have Coda.
And wait, how old is this one again?
She's just over 3 months old.
3 months old. And so
She's getting used to the table and everything, as you can see.
she's like, what's that noise under my feet? And what? It almost reminds me of the curiosity of a cat.
Oh, absolutely. They're very curious as puppies.
And that long tail. And what does this little one eat?
Right now, she eats kind of a mix of some puppy chow, because it's very high in nutrients and high in calories. They need to eat a lot when they're young.
Okay.
In captivity, that is. And then she would eat some mice and some fruits and vegetables. We kind of mix it up. In the wild, in the summers, they'd eat a lot of lemmings, is one of their favorite things, which is a small rodent.
Okay.
Also, Arctic foxes are one of the #1 predators of migratory birds. Because a lot of birds, you think of flying south for the winter,
Right.
but they also go north in the summer. So there are lots of birds that go up to the Arctic to have their babies. And we all know that baby birds, when they learn to fly, aren't always the most successful, which is not so happy for the baby birds, but is necessary for animals like baby foxes, because it provides them with an excellent source of food as they're growing.
All right. So they get the baby birds, and then, is this would a hawk go after this?
Absolutely, especially when they're smaller. So
Yeah.
large birds of prey, larger animals, polar bears will eat foxes too.
Right. Right.
Although, interestingly, Arctic foxes will also sometimes follow polar bears because they'll scavenge on their kills.
Huh.
So, you know, but they obviously are careful to keep a good distance between them and the polar bears.
Right. You know, I heard that, I know some people, like, they shave their dogs in the summertime because they think they're hot, you know, the huskies, and they give them these, you know, haircuts where they look like a lion or something. And I heard that, you know, you actually don't want to do that, because although we look at that thinking that animal has got to be so hot and the dog is panting, that you're actually going against the natural temperature of the body will regulate.
Yes,
Right?
that's
so
right.
The animal could get hotter with the fur cut off.
Yes, usually their coats are designed really well for temperature regulation, whether it's keeping them warm in the winter or cool in the summer.
Okay.
So, and now obviously there are some exceptions, and with domesticated breeds it can depend, because some of the coats are meant for different climates. So, you know, if you bring an animal with a coat that's meant for a really cold climate down to Florida, say, that may be an exception.
Okay.
And there may be extremes. However, yeah, with an Arctic fox, you'd never want to shave their coat or anything, because it's designed for warm summers and cold winters.
So this little guy is going to grow up with you.
It is. She is going to grow up with us, and as you can see, she's super adventurous, super energetic here.
Do they like play with balls? Like, do you put them in the pen? They run around with like
They
toys?
play a lot with each other. We try to do lots of enrichment. Just the other day, they dig a lot. So we're trying to refill their enclosure with a lot of dirt and everything to help them dig, and I was going and dumping in buckets of dirt, which they thought was the coolest thing in the world. You know, that gives an opportunity too to find earthworms and little plants they can chew on and just dig more, and new smells. It's all very fascinating.
You have such a cute little face. We're going to let you go back into your little home.
She did very well for a little baby.
You did
so
a great job.
We'll go bring her back over
Okay,
here.
terrific.
This is Sid.
Hi,
He's
Sid.
a Moluccan cockatoo or salmon-crested cockatoo. Now the reason he's called a salmon-crested is because of these beautiful salmon-colored crest feathers.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he's going to show off. He loves to be the center of attention. They are very emotional birds.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, and very intelligent. So let's see if he wants to go down the table here.
Are these the birds they use? Like he's dragging his beak
He is. He's testing
on the
it.
table. Like, I love all his expressions. It's like slow motion too. Like
Oh, absolutely.
he moves. Oh,
So-
see, he's taken over.
He's
He's like,
decided
you know
that's
what?
his spot.
I'm going to be the host of this show. You can take a back
And he
seat.
does love to be the center of attention. As I said, he's a very emotional, high-maintenance bird. This is the largest species of cockatoo.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, in the wild, they're vulnerable, so they're not quite endangered, but they are a threatened species, mostly due to habitat loss and human intervention.
Okay.
So it's important to note that. But Sid was born in captivity.
So the kids must love Sid.
Oh, he's always a big hit. Usually he's even more of a show-off. You want to come over here, bud? What do you think? Oh, he's picked his spot. He really likes it there.
So, yeah, I'll move over for you. So he's when they these birds they enjoy that. Like he actually gets it. He's not. He's in front of people or other animals. For him to be showing off, it's because he's spreading his feathers.
Oh yes. They are about as intelligent as a 2, maybe 3 to 4-year-old child. So
Okay.
very, very intelligent, very needy. You see a lot of cockatoos in rescue, unfortunately. They live a very long time. Sid here is 15 years old, which is
Wow.
very young because they can live 80, 90, possibly even 100 years.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty much the same lifespan as a human.
That's amazing.
And Sid actually was in a private residence before he came to us. And although sounds kind of weird, Sid's actually very dusty. So
Okay, dusty.
these feathers, when they come out, they actually have little casings on them. You can kind of get a little bit here, and there's like this casings comes off,
yeah,
and there's
look
a
at that.
fine powder. So he's coated in this fine powder, this dust.
Okay.
And in his first home, there was a small child that got really, really sick from the dust.
Okay.
So obviously they had to find a new home for Sid. He came to the Granite State Zoo where he has a home for life, which is really good. We're happy to have him. Another reason that you see cockatoos rehomed a lot, or people that can't do it, is that they can be very affectionate birds, especially when they're young. However, you'll also notice that beautiful beak of his there. He's got a really big beak, and he uses his beak for so many things, including biting.
Okay.
So you noticed before that as he was walking around the table, he was putting his beak
Yeah.
down. They test everything with their beak, new perches. They eat with it too. They also, that's their way of telling you that they don't want to do something, is to bite. So I like to say to people that if you're going to work with a parrot, you will be bit at some point. It's
Okay.
not a matter of, if or anything like that. It's you will, because that's one of the major ways that they communicate.
Because this is well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds, but in regards to people are always getting these birds and they want to train them to talk and all.
Yeah.
Is this one of those that people would?
Absolutely. And they can mimic some things. They do mimic certain words and everything. Also, sometimes they can mimic actions. So one thing that Sid does, we'll see if he does it for us today.
Okay.
So it depends. Is he can mimic actions. What do you think? You thirsty? You want a drink? You want a drink? What do you think? You're gonna be shy? No. He does often pick it up and drink out of it, which is
Really?
mimicking the actions.
That's very cool.
Of course, as much as he's trained, he's also very intelligent. He can be very stubborn, and he's only going to do exactly what he wants to do. You don't want any? I'm going to have some. What do you think? You want some? No. He goes, I'm not thirsty.
It is neat because you can see him watching you.
Oh, absolutely.
He's really beautiful. So you said he's 15. Did you say he's 15?
15,
years
yes.
old? And they live till 80 or 100. Do they change in color, or do they like? Or they just
when
stay?
they're first born, you know, they're actually or featherless, so they're kind of pink.
Okay.
And then they sometimes get intermediate feathers, so they might change from being very young. A lot of times they're kind of a dark gray color so that they blend in more in the nest situation, so predators can pick them off. But then this is his colorage for the rest of his life. So he's going to stay that beautiful pinkish color.
And he's called a salmon. Can I touch the
You
back?
can try. See, he doesn't seem to mind you that much.
Otherwise, he would turn around and.
Yeah, he tends to be pretty good, and he lets people know. And that's another thing with large parrots is they really do pick and choose who they like. Sid and I have a pretty good relationship. Even though he has bit me before, you know, I put that right out there. And I don't know why he's chosen to like me. He doesn't like everyone. He won't let everyone pick him up.
Okay.
So, and that's very common. Moluccan cockatoos would mate for life. They would pick, you know, he would find a female in the wild, and that would be his mate for life, and they would bond.
Oh, okay.
So you see a lot of times in captivity they pick their people.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a lot of times when the people can't be with them 24/7, they get really upset, and you'll see cockatoos are one breed that's one species that's prone to plucking.
I read about that. You come home and the feathers are everywhere.
They'll actually, it's self-mutilation basically for birds, and they're usually depressed, or they don't have enough going on, or they're not getting enough attention, and that's when they actually will pluck out their feathers. Sometimes it's even just biting themselves, and it can get to the point where they almost will kill themselves. It can be so bad. So it's a really serious situation.
Would you recommend somebody who had that experience, would you recommend them getting another, like if the bird was by itself? Could that be a solution?
The solution really varies bird by bird.
Right.
The one thing I probably have learned that, since I've started working with parrots is that each bird is an individual, and even their body language is different. It means different things depending on the bird. Some birds fluff up when they're scared, some birds they're excited. It's just you have to get to know that individual bird. So the solution, therefore, will be dependent on that bird and why are they plucking. Sometimes it can be an underlying medical condition or who knows. So we always just recommend that they find someone really knowledgeable, an expert that can really help them work through that and get that bird to a point where they're going to be safe and healthy.
Well, you are a work of art. You really are. You are a work of art. Look at you. Oh my goodness. It's so funny because he's kind of haunting a little, like, because you know, you just don't know what he's thinking because you know he's so smart. And he's got these beautiful lines around his eyes.
And you notice he's got these cheek feathers he's lifting up here too. And that's kind of what I consider his shy face.
Okay, okay.
So that's just my interpretation of it. Of course, I can't really get in his head. So he's being a little shy right now. Why are you being shy? What do you think? Because there's lots going on.
Yeah, there is lots going on. Well, thank you, Erica, for joining us. It was
much.
such a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to
wonderful.
come out. We always appreciate you guys, and we never know what you're going to bring. And I mean, I'm sure our audience, including ourselves, I've never had an experience with any of these animals, so it's always such a great joy. So thank you so much. We really
Awesome to be
appreciate
here.
it.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for watching Wildlife Encounters on WCTV Windham Community Television. If you'd like to get up close with these or other animals, please visit the Granite State Zoo website. Thanks for joining us. Till next time.